We didn't come this far to slow down now. Let 2021 be the year that you light up, that you wake up, that you shake up that special something in your soul, that you reach out and work for that health, that life, that vibrant living you know is possible. Let this be the year. Let this be the day. Let this be the moment that you believe in miracles again.
Dr. Devin, I get to host a very, very special friend and colleague today, a Kansas girl, an Andale Indian girl, friend of mine for a long, long time. We have worked together. We've done some life together. I've gotten to take care of babies, and she is spreading her wings out in the world. Please welcome Miss Kim German.
Hello.
Oh,
how are you, my friend?
So good and about to be better, because this is one of those things that I have watched. I've referred a lot of people your way over the years. And so getting to have people under my care and get to see like, okay, here they are. And then in conjunction, here's where they go, working with you and what you're going to fill people in on today, and the massive gains that people make. Mentally, emotionally, physically. And so guys, today you are in for a real treat, because Miss Kim is an expert in all things brain, and you're going to feel so much more empowered by the end of this conversation. I just know it. So for the people listening and tuning in today, just give us a little bio here. Who are you? What do you do? Tell us about Kim.
Well, my name is Kim, and she's right. I am from the heartland. I am a therapist, and I am certified in BrainSpotting, and that's a technique that I'm sure we'll probably get into a little bit. Also in certified in integrative medicine for mental health, so specifically for the brain and mental health in that part, and as well as perinatal mood anxiety disorders. So the mamas have a special place in my heart. And so I had to find a way to work them into, and I just fell in love with the certification process with that. So yeah.
So many things. I mean, and that's like the gift and the hardest part of this podcast is when I say, all right, let's pick one thing to talk about today, right? Because there's so many things we wish more people knew and understood and could feel empowered. I mean, you talk about mental health. How badly does the whole world need some tools in regards to mental health?
Well, and we've overcomplicated the majority of it. You have, like, your brain has the ability to heal itself. We just have to sit in a shared safe space for that neurobiological attunement to happen so that it can rewire. And that is what BrainSpotting, that's what I love about BrainSpotting, because that's what allows it to do. What we know is the brain's connected to the body and the body's connected to the brain. And so we think, oh, it has to be this like super complex thing that we do to heal mentally and physically and improve mental health and improve. We've got to go to the original piece of it all.
That's it. Simple is hard sometimes, right? And by making it more complex, it feels so much more unattainable. So yes, this overwhelm cycle. So that's again, watching suicide rates climb, watching, depression and anxiety. I've got so many kids coming in. I've got, moms bringing babies into the world during the most chaotic time in history. So I don't need to outline all the things, because you feel it. You're in New York of all places this time. And so if you could wave a fairy wand over the world and people could wake up to new knowledge, if they could wake up to one new lesson, what's that one thing that you wish more people knew that would change the game?
There is so much, but I really think the one thing would be that they would wake up and know that they are enough. They have everything they need within them. They are enough. Start there. Start where you are right now in this moment, because where you are is enough and you have it all in there. We just need to ignite it.
I love it. I love it. And it seems like the most basic premise, right? And it really does. It's a harsh and really sad awareness that so many people don't feel like they're enough, or that they're whole, or that they're missing something, or that they're, you know, just the level of shame that people walk around with. So because it's a cliche thing that we hear, right? Like
all the time,
the power's inside you, right? It's something that we hear. What are some action steps? What are some game changers that you could empower people with in, you know, BrainSpotting, or how do you action that statement?
The action is, and that's where it goes back to the simple things. People think there's no way if I do something this simple, it's actually going to change. Start with your thinking. What you think, you believe. What you believe, you become. Your brain does not know the difference between a thought and an experience. So if we're thinking negatively, our beautiful brain that doesn't know the difference is sending these toxic chemicals, this adrenaline, saying run, 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 because there's this negative thing when you're not running anywhere. And so now our physical body's affected. We can reverse that and do positive thinking. And some people say, well, it's kind of hard to think positive, right? Find one thing. Where are your feet now? What is one positive right now? And start there. The next one would be meditation. And again, it sounds super cliche and, oh, I have to sit there and go, no, we've kind of mainstream meditation. There's so many different apps now. There's YouTube channels. There's everything that makes it so accessible. Why is silence and sitting there in your own thought? Why is that so powerful? Because that's where it all begins. And that's where we start to, some people will blame society or what they're, you know, they're fed this or they're fed this, and some of that has to do with it. But a lot of it is you believe the own story your brain's creating and nobody questions it. Nobody takes a step back and says, do I need to be believing that the story my brain is telling me? Or do I need to ground myself and say, hey, I need a minute with that thought and to see if I need to, you know, jump in with it or just let it pass by?
The stories, right? I mean, go to, any self-development, big thinking, life-changing guru of sorts, and they're all going to talk about these things and these stories, these limiting beliefs that we all have from a brain perspective, right? Like this is sometimes buried way back there. It sounds so easy to, not easy, but, you know, sitting in the silence and feeling into the chatter and looking our stories in the face of what we tell ourselves. What does BrainSpotting do specifically to address some of these things?
Well, what it does specifically is I would say that BrainSpotting is like a hybrid between like a focused mindfulness, meditation. It just combines all these great simple interventions, but it utilizes the visual field. And so what that does is it helps access the subcortex, that midbrain, that thinking, feeling, that memory storage part of our brain, that as we're developing bottom up, it's ingrained. It becomes our behavior. It becomes our way of life. It becomes all of these different things. And we have that beautiful neocortex that then believes that feeling and creates the story. And so what BrainSpotting allows is, what we tell our patients in a session is follow your brain. It knows where to go. Stuff is going to come up. It may not make sense to you, but it's coming up for a reason because it's trying to heal that so that we no longer have that same intensity in that story. Otherwise, we just keep believing it. And if we do another intervention, then we're looking at, well, now I have to face the feelings with that. I believed this story for so long, and everyone around me knows that I believe this story to my core because it's what I was raised in, it's what I lived in, and blah, blah, blah. That if I change, what will they think? Who cares? At any point in time, any given point, choose differently. Who you were yesterday doesn't have to be who you are today or who you are tomorrow. And I think there's this fear of, if I choose differently, what will they think? Why does that matter?
Why does that matter? And it's a brave thing to do this work, right? To sit and let your brain just go. I can remember the session, the first session I did with you, and it was like, that was weird. Where'd that come from? You know, like, and it makes so much sense, right? When they say how our brain is wired up until the age of 7 or 8. And then after that, I mean, essentially we're replaying a lot of the same records as life goes on. And you and I have shared so many conversations around, you know, addressing the physical, the mental, the emotional, and how it all ties together, because people walk in our offices or have these different ailments and sicknesses. And it's like, it hurts right here. And sometimes it is physical stress and trauma. And it is that simple. And a lot of times it's not, right? The body is just a record of where the brain has been.
Well, and so often that's another thing with BrainSpotting. We do somatic check-ins, we do body check-ins. Where do you feel that in your body? And the reason we do that is because the brain's connected to the body, surprise, and the body's connected to the brain, surprise. So what happens to one happens to the other simultaneously. You can't have an experience mentally and not have some storage physically, and vice versa. And so when we do those check-ins, many times we don't listen to the red flag. We don't listen to the yellow flags, the orange flags. We don't listen to them mentally. And so then our body's like, hey, here's a really painful red flag. Are you going to listen to me now? Well, where's the preventative maintenance in that?
Guys, feel that for a second. I need you to feel that for a second, because I have, you know, we all have journeyed through with ourselves or with friends or family and seen people go through really significant traumas or aches and pains or diseases like cancer. And our brain and body, what if that's true? Is it possible that this conversation holds a message for you that our brain and body are always trying to talk to us and draw attention where we need to pay attention? And pain is an indicator to pay attention inside now. And that indicator is going to get louder and louder. How empowering is it to you and to the people you serve? It changes the whole game. If you are, it puts you in the driver's seat instead of a victim of circumstance. You get to drive the bus.
100%. And that is so rewarding when that light goes off of, I don't have to, this doesn't have to be all of me. And I don't have to keep carrying this for forever. I can feel it and my brain will heal it.
When people hit stuck points, because they do.
Oh, right? Yeah.
I mean, we all do, right? We cling to our blankies, even though we crave change. We can look at the state of the world right now. We know that where we're at is not sustainable. Change has to occur, but we fight it. I mean, how do you nurture someone through that process? Or to anybody that might be clinging to an old story that doesn't serve them anymore, somebody that's going through something that it's like, I know I need to change, but man, I just can't get past this stuck point. Words of wisdom there.
That's usually when we say, okay, then you're choosing repetition. You're choosing pain. You don't get to just have the good things and the happy changes and go, okay, I'm going to own that. Well, that's fine. If you're going to wake up and go, okay, I'm choosing not to do anything because it's safe. It feels safe. But if we know right in here, like in here, I know risk and I know reward. So you think, but remove that and the risk and reward is the same. It's still risk. It's still reward. But now we've removed the boundaries of this limitation that we've believed from whatever. And it's scary. And that fear, what people don't understand is sometimes that fear is necessary for the next leap. Not all anxiety is bad anxiety. You know, some of it's really good. We need that extra adrenaline. We need that extra push. We need that extra go juice to kind of run from some things or run into that fire. So why can it all be bad? Well, we've labeled it, I think, bad overall. It is, if you feel that it's bad, stop, it's unsafe. Sit in that for a second and then really choose, am I choosing to stay put or I'm going to choose that risk?
Because it's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the difference of being in power or feeling like there's a power over you. And
Mm-hmm.
me, that's the difference between freedom and victim mentality. And it's, some of it's just the way our society has chosen to exist. And I think it's changing on a daily basis right now. Moms are really affected, right? Like, not only do we hold our own stuff, but we hold our pregnancy stuff and our birth stuff. We grow humans inside our body. We grow humans, and like, we're superhuman. And then we birth these babies and we go right back or further in, right? It's like now we juggle more things and then we run right back in. Then you add the 2020, 2021 things and emotions and guilts and shames and fears and angers and all of it. Speak to my moms that are listening right now. What do you wish moms knew, or some self-care tips, or just any messages really on your heart to send out to moms?
Your gut intuition is right. We as moms have this gut feeling, this mother's intuition. And I know we hear it and it sounds stupid and it sounds cliche, but we have that because it's real. It's something that we term egosyntonic. When you feel that gut feeling and you don't act in it, it doesn't sit right. And then you're questioning. And then that's where shame and stuff comes in. Listen to that gut feeling and make the best yes. Is it going to be the best yes forever? We don't know. You know, whatever. That, we're not worried about that right now. We have to be in the moment. And so if the gut feeling is say do it, then do it. If the gut feeling is saying don't. And that is your best yes right now. And that's all you need to worry about. You will receive input from others. You will receive their unsolicited advice. It will come from all directions, not just for you, but for your family, for your littles. And if it's your gut feeling, go with it. Trust that, because it is so much more intelligent than we give it credit for.
And no one, guys, is playing with the same deck of cards, right? Like, we live in different places. We have different genetics. We have different jobs. We have different numbers of children or partners, or, there's no two people existing with the exact same deck of cards. And so you've got to feel into, there's no one size fits all. And relearning to trust that intuition is another key to freedom. Now
it is.
Yeah. And tell me how you think that carries into, if a mom is empowered and trusting of that intuition and has the awareness of their thoughts create their reality, and how does that affect parenting and in turn affect the kids, you think?
Confident. I mean, there's so much more confidence in parenting. You're not second guessing everything. You're following that. You're making the best yes. And you're fully aware that, hey, I'm going to own the good stuff, but I'm also going to own, I'm going to own the shit that comes with it too. And because I'm going to own that, I know I can choose differently. I'm going to make the best yes for me and my family. And what that teaches the kids is the reality is there's none of this. This doesn't exist. This is a story that we have believed for so long. There is none of this. And so what that then does is give kids permission to be kids, make mistakes, learn from their mistakes, cling to that beginner's mind of ever learning, ever growing, instead of that fixed mindset of, this is it. This is where I exist. Because when a mom has that empowerment of, I'm thinking these things, I'm feeling these things, I'm believing these things, I'm living these things, they're unfolding in front of me because I put them out there. And so it was happening regardless of you wanting it to or not. Now the kids see that. And so that now we're fueling that down to a generation of kids that are going to be more attuned, going to be more aware, going to trust their gut feelings more. And they're going to accept change instead of staying between here. They're more apt to say, hey, this is where you're at, but I'm going to change. I'm going to do something different. At any point in time, I can do something differently. I'm going to make mistakes along the way, but that's not bad. It may be different, but different doesn't mean bad. It just means different. And somewhere along the way, we've coined different with bad. And if somebody makes a different choice than us, then it's bad. And so we have to have all these feelings about that. No, we don't. Different's just different.
Right. And we've just we're I think that this time is just exposing how much judgment we already had in us about one another and about ourselves, because we live in this, like you said, it's black or it's white, it's right or it's wrong, it's red or it's blue, it's left or it's right. And it's this idea of polarity, when in reality, you know, we just pivot and adapt and pivot and adapt, and putting down the shame game of trying to do everything right. That we could never. It's not life.
And when I think, you know, our moms, especially when they have babies, they all of a sudden want to make the right decision all the time. I just want to be good. You're there. Show up. Follow that gut intuition, make the best yes in that moment. And at any point in time, choose differently when it doesn't feel right.
Dr. Stu Bittman, when I interviewed him, one of the things he said that will just stick with me forever is all we can do is better, right? So we learn, we do better. We learn, we do better. And that's life. Now, for people, because you do virtual sessions with people, yes?
Yeah.
So for people that want to learn more about BrainSpotting, where do they go? For people that have been ignited to ask you some questions, because in a short amount of time, you have dropped so much gold that everyone needs, right? So if people want to connect with you, how do they find you?
Oh gosh. I mean, I probably need to get on the social media train. But I have an email. It's just kim@bestselftherapyks.com. I also have a website with some information on there. You can Google BrainSpotting, go to the BrainSpotting Institute, brainspotting.com. There's lots of videos. And I will tell you, the first time I stumbled across, I thought this stuff is kind of odd. It's different. It's not what we're told in school is what it's supposed to look like, but it works. And it's because it's simple.
Guys, this is one of the golden keys that I've seen unlock so many things for so many people in my practice over the last few years, since Kim worked with us back in the Goddard days as a chiropractic assistant. Finished some major education leaps and just followed the breadcrumbs. And going back to the root, what drives you, or what motivated you to get into this work in the first place?
There's a better way. There's a better way. Just seeing the way mental health was stigmatized and knowing that that's not all it is. And there's more to it. If we integrate the brain into it and we understand how that's working and wiring, there's a better way. There's a more holistic way. There's a way that empowers people that you can do it. I mean, it is there and it works. And a lot of times people will come in and they have questions. Good. I love that, because it means they're curious. And as long as people are curious, we have hope.
That's it, guys. And I know that it's like you stick with it and you yearn to learn more because you've seen the transformations that it's unlocked in people. And curiosity, right? If we could take away anything from our babies and kids, and really if we're paying any attention to what the world's been through, it's to stay curious and to stay open. I have so many notes on here, and guys, I'm going to attach some links to the show notes so that you can go learn more about this. Maybe see if you've got a practitioner in your area, and or if you want to connect with Kimmy virtually. And these are the things. The only way out of challenge is through, right? We've got to climb the mountain, and we all face a different one. So I hope that something, or lots of little things that she dropped in this episode, serve you, because these are the things that unlock the next layer of health and happiness and life lived in the abundance that we know is possible. So thank you. Is there anything else you want to shine out to the world, or a send off of any sort?
Just keep going. Just keep going. Because as long as we have that motivation to keep going, something different will appear. And as long as we're curious, we can use that different to push us forward.
I love it. I got a little Dory image there with that one. Keep swimming.
Keep swimming.
Right? With that, that's the best medicine.
Right.
So
it is.
Kim, thank you so much. And thank you for being such a light in the dark spaces for people. And the work that you do is so important. So guys, go find her, get curious, keep your heart open, be willing to be different, because different is not bad. And it unlocks the unknown, which is where the miracles are. So I love you. I'll be seeing you.
Love you. Yes. Very soon.
Oh, congrats on all the things opening up. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you.
See you soon.
Well, what'd you think? Thank you so much for investing your time and your energy to share in the conversation on this episode of If They Knew. The whole vision was to invite some of my favorite storytellers, mentors, teachers, and guides that inspire me to live healthier, to live happier, to live more free, more authentically me. I hope that something they said, something they shared, opened up a little piece of you that had been there all along and just needed a little nudge to remember. If you have any feedback, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to post it in the comments or reach out to me directly. If you know somebody that you think would make us a good interviewee, send me your suggestions. You are the reason, you are the motivation for this podcast, for these conversations. If you really want to crank up the light in your health and life, be in Wichita, Kansas, and join us for the big idea on June 25th, 26th, and 27th. We're going to blow you away with speakers from all over the country who are going to elevate the game when it comes to what it means to live vibrantly alive. This is the community you've been looking for. Now, there's big work to be done. And if we want to see change in the world, we've got to start with ourselves. So I hope that this episode and the different things I share on social media and the events that we host help bring it all together. I love you. I appreciate you. I am so very grateful for this space and for you. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you soon.